Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Free Thinking the Culture podcast with your host, Noir. That is me, of course. And today, I believe this one is going to be titled Deserve or I Deserve. One of those two, but something like that. Just follow along with me, all right? You know how we do here. This podcast came in very different directions for me today. So it's not going to be like your typical one that I'm used to doing. It's kind of going to be something a little different for me. And it's something that I think I failed to do enough, and something that I've really taken for granted within myself, just learning myself all over again and just kind of growing and evolving. And on that journey, it's been kind of like this thing of being scared to acknowledge that I've like really grown in a way that I'm probably not used to, and in a way that that makes me very proud of myself. And it's not too often that I'm very proud of myself, because why not? Or why not? You can almost get conditioned to not really believe in like those small things or those small victories, but they matter like a lot. Like a lot. Like think beyond like the max of a lot, just a lot. And I felt within myself, I was like, man, how much of a restrained mind of thinking that I've been in to think that I couldn't be happy beyond wherever I am in life right now, you know? Because you kind of create this own ceiling for yourself where you don't see yourself maybe evolving in a way, and then you kind of, once you get there, because you kind of take the step like, let me just try just to see. And lo and behold, you realize, hey, doubted yourself for nothing, right? It's almost one of those moments in life where you really truly realize the mind is super powerful. Like I can't even explain the way that the mind goes. You know, how you set yourself up for either failure or success. And sometimes we take that for granted. In fact, I know for a fact I take that for granted. I don't know. It just makes me grateful to just say, don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back when you get that moment. Because a lot of times there won't be people around you that'll be able to do it for you. So be able to depend on yourself. A lot of the times, man, we kind of just, we set up our own brick wall, right? And honestly, we're our worst enemies at a lot of times. We can point the finger at somebody else, but really when you truly think about it, you are in complete control of what you want to do, right? But we often, far too often in my grand scheme of things, we give that power over to people too much by letting you get to a certain point of being upset or being depressed or being happy. Happiness, yeah, of course take that, but all those different things that you don't need, it kind of comes into play where you kind of look at yourself like, man, how did I let either this situation or this person or just this life get me to this point? And you have to then start acknowledging things that you may be going through that you're not acknowledging, of course. You know how we do that here. And a lot of the times, I had to look at myself like, why am I not happy right now? What's holding me back? And after I went through all the excuses and all the procrastination and all those different things that we hide behind, I would look like, man, it's me. It's like literally me. Like, how am I letting anybody, or how am I letting myself be doubted so bad based off what I think somebody else may think? And it just really puts you in a really different, really different, I don't know, just a different mind frame. I'll just say that. I don't even know how to explain it, because when you really come to the realization of where you are, you just think like, dang, I can't believe I let myself get that bad like that. But then you really grow to appreciate the fact of now you'd have a blueprint to know what not to go back to, if that makes sense to you. And so I think a lot of times we really don't think that deep into things. We really don't. And we don't do that self-evaluation that's needed to grow spiritually and mentally, especially mentally. So I have to ask you, and do your homework, and think on it when we leave. Where are you at right now? And I've asked this before, like, do you feel like you're in the place where you're supposed to be in society? But I truly ask you now, where are you right now? Are you here? Are you only filling in dead space until it's time for you to, expire? Like, what are you doing? And I actually, a lot of that sometimes because a lot of us don't know, and sometimes it takes somebody else asking us that. So yeah, where are you? That's all I got for you right there with that part. Evolution, right? We all have to go through it, and we all go through it so many different times. And what happens when you try to, I guess, control the evolution? I guess it's one of those situations, and that's why I said this one is gonna be different because it's kind of going into a realm that I'm not really used to talking about. So it's just when you try to craft your own evolution, it's difficult. Because of course that's something that's going against a structure that's already there. But why are you now trying to change that? Like what in us makes us special to say, no, I think I see something greater with an alternate route? Who does that? We do that a lot. We fight against a lot of evolution that we're naturally supposed to progress to. And for me, it's almost scary going into the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you've been taught differently. So that's all you know how to think like. But then once you really realize, I honestly can think way beyond this. Why was I always right here? Why did I not think about this sooner? But maybe I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to be right where you are right now. And I feel like that's where I'm at. To where I can go either way. I can craft, however I want this life to, go, to continue to go. I have a power to be able to do that. And that power lies right within my mind, right? So once you come to that realization, does it take you off your feet? It took me off my feet for a minute. I'm talking about for a good minute. And now that I'm really coming back around to it, I'm getting like a second wind. It's like, okay, where do I go from here? And that's a question that I think I haven't asked myself in a long time. And I think that's why I'm so revitalized by it. Because the last time I think I've had that push was when I was like back in school or probably post school, especially when I was in like real hustle mode. So it like something just like sparked back inside me, right? And it made me just really want to do more, not even more than what I've already done. So it's like, okay, I got a second win from somewhere, somehow. And then I had to break that down. Why am I here right now with this? Because I'm supposed to be. Not only am I supposed to be, I had a hand in doing that. I had a hand in getting me to where I am right now. And like I said, I love that. I love that for me. Sometimes you got to really be proud of yourself and be like, I got this. It's hard, but I got it. I think it's really good to actually acknowledge that at some point in your life, to really feel like you are finally in control of your life. Because a lot of us, we free fall and we really truly don't think this is where we could be with this. We really don't think of the options and the limitless possibilities of becoming truly free from oppressive thinking. You feel me? And I know a lot of us don't think that we're in oppressive, living, but in oppressive thinking, especially, a lot of us are. And when you realize that you are, to a certain extent, that's when you really kind of let that shit go. Because it's almost like, you know how it is when they say the stages of grief? When you come through all those stages and then you finally get to that last step and you be like, oh, okay. It's almost like that. Well, that's why I say almost, because I don't know. I don't know the 7 stages of grief, like that. I know some of them, but probably not all of them. Like that strong. So as comparison to that, I think it's about as close as you can get when you really realize how much you've been holding yourself back. Stop doing that. Look, that's the main message of the day. Hey, stop doing that. I want to tap the mic, but it's going to make it peak and I don't want to scare you like that. But just imagine me, let me put it in my hand. No, so you got to stop that, bro. Stop that. I think I'm just to a point now where I'm like, I'm good. And I think you should be too. It's a good place to be. And it's not just one level to it. It's many levels. But again, where are you in that and all of that? The grand scheme of things. Where are you? I know to some people it may not make sense. And to some people it will. But I like to think on those type of realms like that. I don't like to limit myself. Look, I gotta talk that shit. I'm just saying, you cannot speak that negative into your life like that. Now I get on myself like, don't say that. I had a friend every time me, stop saying that. Stop saying little. Stop saying whatever. Stop saying yeah. So it's like, it's really funny when it takes somebody else telling you, man, you limiting yourself. And then once you finally catch on to all that, you be like, man, I can do anything I want to do. And it makes me think about like some of those songs that used to really be relative to like feeling good and having a higher vibration and all of that. We don't really have a lot of that now. And I didn't even really catch on to it until now. It's like, man, we used to have those songs by like Nas and all of that. They used to tell you that you could be whatever you want to be. Aretha Franklin, a rose is still a rose type shit. And it's like, man, we had really good songs that really influenced you to want to do better. What happened to that? And now what we have now is very low vibrational stripper music. It's the way to announce that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of it sounds great. I'm not even gonna sit up in front like it's all trash, but we know it's like all stripper love and hip hop music. In my opinion, I'll frame it like that. It's very love and hip hop, and it's like you'd be like, I want to get off this merry-go-round. I don't want to be here anymore with this. And I think we all get to that point every now and then where we just say, I just want off this ride. That's exactly where I am. I want off the ride. I want my freedom. I want a choice to be able to do what I want to do and how I want to do it, which I've taken. And, and of course there's a structure you have to work around, but, at some point you still have to participate in that structure to be able to get to your end goal. Let me say that. Because one of my end goals is like really to have property over in Africa, right? And to do that, you really have to think outside that. You have to really be efficient in saving money, resourcing everything that you need to know about that. And to be able to think that bold is to say, I'm ready to leave this life over here behind and go start a new one. That's a lot of thinking. That's a lot of limitless thinking, let me say that, because you can't structure yourself around a typical what you would have to do here. That's a whole different turf, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like that's a part of what re-sparked my evolution. I said that, or not even re-sparked it, really got it into high gear to really, really want more for myself. And I just think you should have that too. I mean, like, I know that's me sounding optimistic for y'all, but yeah, you should want that too. That's just my opinion. I don't know about you. I don't know how you feel about what the current living conditions. Let me say that. My bad. It's a lot going on, man. So, I mean, when you really, really think about the grand scheme of things, I'd be thinking like, are we in trouble? I feel like we're in trouble. Like, I feel like something coming my way and I don't know what. So I would just want to make sure I'm on the right side of it. And so I kind of put this out and say to you for real, want better for your life. If that makes sense to you in any, like, really want better for yourself. Because I know you feel like right now you may be comfortable, or right now everything is where you exactly want it to be. I guarantee you it's not. There's something in you that wants just a little bit more. And we always could be like that, because that's the stages of evolution. That's who we want to be. We want to always make sure we're at our best selves. And I don't think that ever stops until like the day you die. I feel like the day you die is like, that's your perfect self, because I don't know. I just feel like you've gained all experience that you possibly can in this lifetime. So you kind of, have said, okay, I'm cool, I'm ready to go. And it's like you having the power of being able to move on in a weird kind of way. I hope that makes sense. But I'm talking about like life in general and evolution. So it's like we don't really think about those things because we're too busy living for right now, having to pay bills, having to be social, having to, make sure we're good with our families, having to make sure we keep it balanced. And that takes up a lot of our time to, I guess, really sit down and really think about stuff like this. Like, you really have to stop and think, like, man, what's going to be my story at the end, and will I reach my max potential? And for me, I want to always push towards my max. That way I can know I gave it my all. You feel me? When I'm ready to go. You feel me? I know a lot of people may not understand that, but I think you get to a point when you really have achieved a lot, and that's like financially, that's like spiritually, that's like physically. When you really push yourself and then you get that hunger for something more, you just really, you really don't want to let yourself down, your future self down. Look, I'm going to the future with it. You don't want to let your future self down because you want to make sure you can look back on times and say, man, I really pushed myself. I really made this happen. I really made myself comfortable so I can enjoy my later years, enjoying the fruits of my labor, basically. And that's, for some people have children, they enjoy their lives that way. Some people live a single life and a free life to where they're not tied down by what they may feel like will be social constructs, and I respect it all, but, have a plan. That's all I can say for that. That's why I kind of never really shit on somebody's personal choices. I'll make fun of it. I'll make jokes about stuff like that. And sometimes you may not even think I may be serious about it, but I'll look at it as, that's that person's choice though. I got to get them that. And I can't be mad at that because it really doesn't affect me like that until it does. Now that's when I have something to say about it. But if it doesn't really affect me like that, I don't try to bother or impose on somebody's evolution. And I think we all should be thinking like that to some extent, because we want the grace to grow and be able to just exhale in peace. Look, just me breathing like that just made me say just to exhale and just to have that moment, Hopefully this makes sense to you because it made a whole lot of sense to me. And it may not help because I'm a little high too. So, but the thing is, these be my best moments when I really be thinking about life and evolving and just really moving forward. And I hope that I put something in your mind to make you think beyond the borders that you set up for yourself and what society has set up for you. Because unfortunately, we're always living in this box of I can't do, when really you can do it all if you want to. It may not be the easy route. You may have to take the scenic route, but at the end of the day, you go get there. That's all I can say. You go get there, and you go get there in your time, and it's gonna be the perfect ending to your story. That's the way I end that off. Make the ending of your story the best story that's ever been written. So when somebody look up your history, they can say this person lived their life to the best that they could possibly live it. Do that, and it'll be enough. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Free Thinking and Culture podcast. It should be deserve or I deserve. And maybe something else, but I'm going towards I deserve. Thank you for bearing with me and stuff like that. And thank you for being patient with the podcast. It's very hard to sometimes produce stuff at the end, during the week, because you don't always be up for it. And I never want to produce something to y'all that's not authentic, that I don't really be having on my mind, because that's not being genuine. You know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure I show up every week, at least once a week. But I enjoy for all of you that listen. Thank you for being a part of a great community. You guys have been awesome. Don't forget to rate the podcast. Let me know how you feel down in the comments or your reviews. And I'll catch you guys next time on Free Thinking Culture Podcast. All right, guys. Later.